Welcome to the fifth of my 10 15-minute classes for complete beginners in yoga. So today on class number 5, we're going to cover some of the poses that we've done before. We might touch on some new poses, but we're going to pull it together in a nice flowing routine. So let's come on to our hands and knees for cat-cow. So we're going to smoothly flow through a set of poses. So exhale, look towards your navel. Inhale, look towards the sky. We're familiar with this. We've done this in most of the classes so far. And this is a nice, gentle warm-up for the back. And then we move into cat, bird, dog. So extend the left arm and the right leg. And the right arm and the left leg. And repeat on the first side, and repeat on the second side. Coordinate with your breath. Always exhale into poses, inhale out of them. Third time on the left side. This time I want to make it a mobile version of the pose, so moving the left hand and the right knee under, but keeping the back still. And then switch sides. Right arm as it comes under, exhale, inhale as it comes out. That might slow you down a bit, which is good. Slow movements are more precise movements. That's what we want, precision for stability. And then come down. So we're going to add a few more things here. I want you to keep the arms straight, lift up and down between the shoulder blades. So this teaches you to protract and retract the shoulders. It gets you more familiar with them. Now stop here and lift the shoulders, shrug the shoulders and move them in the opposite direction. Shrug and depress. Elevate and depress. Good. Now see if you can move them in a circle. So depressing, prorating, elevating and bringing them together again. So moving them in a circle. Okay. So now we're going to revisit bird dog cat-cow in a slightly different way. I want to see if you can do cat-cow only in the lumbar, the bottom of the spine. So you notice I'm tucking and tilting just the low back. I'm not moving my upper back at all. So this helps us to get more aware of what's going on in the back. You don't have eyes on the back of your head. You have to rely on a skill called proprioception, which is knowing what your body's doing without eyes on. Okay, and then come to a neutral place. We're going to walk back into plank. Hold plank for a moment or two. You can have your knees on the floor if you need to. And then we're going to come onto the left hand, let the heels drop to the floor. The right foot's in front, the left foot's behind. And then back to the center and across the other side. And from here we're going to move into upward dog. So mostly these are poses we've done before. We do downward dog in every class. Now I want you to transition from downward dog into plank. Now you could stay there or you could lower into a yoga press-up called chaturanga and then move into an upward dog. So everybody can get into the upward dog. So the hips drop but the legs remain straight. If you have to, put your knees on the floor, but try to keep your knees off of the floor. And then roll back into downward dog. So let's introduce a lunge here. So I'm going to bring my left foot up and drop onto my right knee. So I'm in a low lunge and I bring the arms up over my head and stretch up. And then I can introduce a twist. So I bring the right arm across the left knee and the left hand out behind me. Inhale the arms up. Place the hands on the floor on either side of my left foot and bring my right knee off the ground. And walk my hands forwards and my knee forwards so I get into a deeper lunge. And then I can come up and come into Warrior One. So we're entering Warrior One from a different direction. Now take your right hand down the right thigh and take the left arm over the head and come into Reverse Warrior. So this is a pose we haven't done before. Now bring the hands down to the left foot. Take the left foot back into downward dog. And just pause here for a moment before we bring the right foot up into a low lunge. So you can swing your right foot up. It might take a couple of goes. Drop onto the left knee, and then inhale, come on up. Bring the arms up over the head. And then we'll build a twist. Take the left hand across the right knee. Take the right hand out behind you. I love the way we can build so many different movements into a flowing sequence. And then bring the arms up over the head. Take the hands down to the floor. Let the right knee go ahead and take the left knee off the floor. And then we're going to come up again, and this time we come up into Warrior One from here. So we're in Warrior One, coming from a different direction. Take the left hand down the left thigh, the right arm over the head, and this is called Reverse Warrior. And then bring the hands down to the floor again. Take the right leg back and come up into Downward Dog. So Downward Dog provides a nice kind of stopping place in between, a transition spot. Now bring the left knee up between the hands and the left foot by the right hip. So this is called Pigeon. Do not try to get this leg at a right angle. Some teachers try that. It's very bad for most people's hips and knees. Just let the right knee, the right foot sit in the opposite groin. So my left foot is in the right groin, and I'm keeping my spine tall. And then I can extend forward like this. This gives you a nice deep flexion in the left hip and allows you a deep extension in the right hip. Point your right foot straight back. Walk your hands in, and let's transition into Downward Dog. Turn the right toes under. Take the left foot back. So we're introducing some newer poses into this class. Reverse Warrior, a lunge, and Pigeon Pose. Bring the right foot up and let the hips drop down. So you notice I'm keeping this right foot into the left groin. I'm not trying to bring this foot forward to here. Just letting the hips settle down, feeling the length. There's a big, what's called an extension in the left hip flexors and a deep flexion in the right hip flexors. And then I come down to enhance that, extend my arms ahead, and just enjoy this. And then I walk the hands back, turn my toes under, and come back into Downward Dog. I'd like to take an opportunity now to revisit some of the backbending poses. They're not as intimidating as you might think. Come down on your hands and knees, lay on your front, and come into Sphinx Pose. So we visited Sphinx Pose a couple of times, and it's a nice way to relax the back from a life of rounding and humping the back in texting, computers, sitting in chairs, etc. Now, if you feel comfortable here, you can straighten this out, straighten the arms more and enhance the effect. I'm trying to pull the hands towards me. I don't want them to move. I just want to have that energized feeling of dropping the shoulders and lifting the chest. And then come on down. So the second back bend was the locust pose we've tried once before. So I'm going to take the hands back by the hips, bring the toes together, the heels apart, and then just lift the feet, the head, and the hands up. Keep the back of the neck long. Don't try to look ahead. And breathe. And then lower down. So that's 2 of the 3 poses I want to do today. Now I'd like you to do bridge pose, which I regard as another critically important pose. So I'm laying on my back, and I bring the heels in close to the groin. I'm going to make it a little bit harder today, but let's first revisit what we did before. So tucking the tailbone, so sucking the navel in slightly, engaging the core, lifting up. So interlace the hands underneath the back, So the fingers get interlaced right up to the webbing. Pull the left shoulder under, the right shoulder under, separate the hands. We did this before. So today, I want you just to straighten the left leg so the left thigh is parallel to the right thigh. So this enhances the challenge of this pose. Bring the left foot down, extend the right leg. Bridge pose. And then bring the foot down and lower down to the floor. And you can bring your knees into your chest at this point. So let's roll onto the side and come up. I'd like to introduce you to a lateral extension. There aren't many lateral extensions in yoga, but triangle is one, extended side angle. And then there's gate pose. So I'm kneeling, high kneeling, facing the long edge of the mat. And I take my left foot out to the side. Now I need to rest my foot on a block. You may bring your foot to the floor, so differences are not deficits. Take the arms out like this, and then extend without rolling the chest forward, keeping it facing the long edge of the mat. Bring the left hand down, the palm facing outwards, and swing the right arm around like this, and open the chest more. And keep the legs, absolutely, keep this left leg straight, and really extend and reach out through the right fingertips, stretching the right side of the body. Inhale back to the center, and bring the knees back together again. This is the gate pose. So I'm going to bring the block down to the other end of the mat. Take my right foot out. So I try to keep my right foot in line with the left knee. The left thigh vertical. Bring the arms up. Extend out to this side. Bring this hand down in front of the shin, palm facing outwards, swing the other arm under. And it has some similarities to extended side angle and triangle, but it's its own pose, gate pose. It reminds one of those old-fashioned farm gates with a crossbar. Inhale back to center, bring the knees back together again. And briefly, I want you to explore the beginnings of camel pose. So you're high kneeling already, so I'm just going to get you to put your hands on your buttocks. I do not want you to take your hands off your buttocks for this first version of the pose. The thighs are vertical, the knees and feet are hip width apart, lift and open the chest, roll the shoulders back. You can keep your chin looking tucked and looking ahead, or you can let the head float back, but don't try to reach your hands down to your heels at this point. And then come on up. Sit back on your heels. So that is as far as we're going today. We've got a very important pose left, which is Shavasana. So come and lay on your back. I think we'll have you simply lay on your back on the floor today and feel the whole floor just absorbing the weight of your body. No props, nothing except the mat. Palms face up, palms relax. Just let the back of the neck lengthen. Let the feet drop out to the sides, all the way up from the hips. See if you can let go of any tension in the forehead, the jaw. You can just have a slight smile on the corners of your lips. That helps the muscles on the face to relax. And we're doing very nicely here. So this time I want you once again to bring your attention back to your breath. Noticing the breath. From the beginning of the inhale to the end of the exhale, breathing through the nose. So you can always just continue your Shavasana on for another few minutes. Time is never wasted. But for now, to keep within our 15 minutes, bend the knees, roll onto your left side, and push yourself up to sitting. So we always finish our yoga classes just coming to a comfortable cross-legged position, feeling gratitude to ourselves for the work we put in today. Enjoy the rest of your day.